There comes a moment in every person's life when they stand face to face with their own reflection. I'm not talking about the reflection the world sees, but the one only you can feel. The one that doesn't lie. The one that whispers in the silence. You know what you could be? That reflection isn't asking for comfort. It's demanding command. Because until you master yourself, you will always be mastered by fear, by doubt, by laziness, by circumstance, by every lesser version of who you could have been. Self-command. It's not just a phrase. It is the foundation upon which greatness is built. Every empire that ever rose from dust began with a man or a woman who conquered themselves first. Think about it. Alexander the Great conquered nations. Yes, but before he did that, he conquered his own hesitation. Thomas Edison faced failure 1,000 times, but before he lit up the world, he lit the fire of relentless discipline inside himself. Henry Ford envisioned engines when the world was still riding horses, but before those machines ever obeyed his command, he first learned to command his own mind. That is the law. It's an unchangeable truth of the universe. Master yourself, or be mastered. You cannot lead if you cannot follow your own commands. You cannot create. If you can't control your own thoughts, you cannot rise if your emotions drag you down every single time a storm hits. The world does not bend to the will of the undisciplined. It bends to the person who bends themselves into form. And yet, most people live as slaves to impulses they never even question. They wake up when they feel like it. They work only when they're motivated. They quit the second it gets hard. They give all their power away to their moods, to distractions, to the cheap applause of others. They live like leaves in the wind, moved by every breeze, broken by every storm, never realizing the truth. Real freedom belongs only to those who command themselves. The man who can say no to himself is a king. The woman who can silence the voice of fear and act anyway is absolutely unstoppable. Self-command is not about suppressing it. It's about direction. It asks the conscious choice to rule the chaos inside of you instead of being ruled by it. It is the art of turning raw emotion into productive energy, and that energy into powerful action. In every era, the world has been shaped by those who possessed this power. Think of Lincoln facing civil war, division, and utter despair. The easy path was to surrender, but he mastered the emotion of defeat. He commanded faith when the entire nation's heart was breaking. Or consider Andrew Carnegie, who rose from abject poverty, not by chance, but by mental sovereignty. He didn't just wait for conditions to improve. He improved himself until the conditions had no other choice but to follow his lead. The truth is simple, but it is never easy. The world around you is a mirror of your internal state. You cannot hide from yourself. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaos. If your will is weak, your results will crumble under pressure. If you cannot command yourself in the dark, when no one is watching, you will never be able to shine in the light. Self-command is built in the silence when the world is asleep. When comfort whispers in your ear, you've done enough. When the bed feels so warm and your dream feels so distant. It's forged in those invisible moments when you choose action over apathy, purpose over pleasure, and responsibility over reaction. You see, discipline isn't punishment. It's liberation. Every single time you choose discipline, you are reclaiming power from the things that seek to control you. When you wake up early, you are commanding your time. When you train your body, you are commanding your energy. When you hold your tongue instead of lashing out, you are commanding your emotions. And when you choose to focus, you are commanding your destiny. Every great life is built on a foundation of invisible victories that no one ever celebrates. The decision to study instead of endlessly scrolling. The decision to create instead of just consuming. The decision to persist instead of retreating. That's what builds character. That's what builds mastery. But mastery demands a price. The death of the old self, the one that's addicted to comfort, to validation, to excuses. The one who lives by reaction instead of intention. That self must die so the stronger one can rise. You must look yourself directly in the eye and say, no more. No more being ruled by the mood of the moment. No more bowing to every distraction. No more making peace with mediocrity. Because life is not waiting for you. Every day you fail to command yourself. Life commands you. The clock keeps moving. The world keeps spinning. And opportunities slip quietly into the hands of those who have prepared themselves for them. The discipline you avoid today becomes the regret you will carry with you tomorrow. So, the question is not whether you have potential, of course you do, everyone does. The question is whether you can command that potential into reality. The truth is, you already have everything you need. The mind that doubts can also believe. The hands that procrastinate can also create. The heart that fears can also fight. You simply haven't learned to give the right orders yet. When you master yourself, the world becomes your instrument. When you fail to, you become the instrument of the world. Every advertisement, every distraction, every fleeting emotion becomes your master. But once you take command, once you stand in the quiet certainty of your own discipline, you become unstoppable because no one can ever take from you what you've built within. And that is the beginning of true wealth. The kind of wealth that isn't measured in money, but in mastery of your thoughts, of your focus, of yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more. I'd love to hear your thoughts on self-command in the comments below. Until next time, take command.